Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mara. If you did not know, if you're new, thanks for joining us. Today I am going to be starting a week-long reading vlog where I'm going to be reading as many pages in a day as my phone pickups from the week before. It'll make much more sense as the video continues. I went into my screen time for the last week, screenshotted all of the phone pickups that I had for that day. Monday, on January 29th, I had 361 phone pickups, which means I have to read 361 pages of a book. The first book that I'm going to be reading, I am so excited about. Powerless. I already did start this and then I realized I should probably read for a video. I'm obsessed with this so far. I'm sure everybody seems to already kind of know what this is about, but in case you haven't heard, it's basically about Peyton, who is an ordinary, and then Kai, who is the king's son, and he is an elite, and the king basically wants to get rid of all ordinaries and only wants the kingdom to have elites. And these elites are people with some sort of powers. The trials happen like every few years, and she's invited to a trial because she is basically masking herself as an elite so that she doesn't get killed. Her power is that she's psychic. She's actually not. So it's really interesting. She's really strategic, and I really think she's a really cool character. I'm really excited to see where this book goes. I know a lot of people love this book. It has a lot of hype around it, and I'm trying to go in blind and not listen to everybody raving about it because I really want to form my own opinions about this. It is a YA fantasy, so I feel like it'll be really easy to get into, and I already am really enjoying the plot and the characters. Also, can we just talk about how gorgeous this book is? It's literally gorgeous. Yeah, today I have to read 361 pages, so I'm definitely just going to knock this book out because I'm only on page like 100, somewhere around there. So I'm just gonna keep reading until I finish, and then if I have some pages left over, I will carry that over into another book, and then I'll talk more about that book when we get there. But this is what we're doing. This is the first book. I'm very excited. Not left my bed. I've just been reading Powerless, just binge reading this. I'm obsessed. The writing style is so perfect. It's so easy to follow. Like, it's not politics heavy. The only like main thing you need to know is just that the elites want to get rid of the ordinaries, and that there's these trials where they just kind of like show off their powers. All you need to know is the fact that Peyton is supposed to be killed, and the guy that's supposed to kill her is the prince, who is also her love interest. Hot. Also, everybody has been saying that Lauren Roberts has written this book in a way that just feeds romantasy readers, and I have to say 10 out of 10 agree. I mean, there's the who did this to you trope in here more than once, which is like my favorite. It's kind of giving like, I can't explain this in a way that's gonna make sense unless you've read the book, but somehow it's giving like Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. If you've read the book, like, you would get it. Part of the trials where they're like out in the woods just kind of sitting at like a fire and like talking, and that is giving me, I think, Tangled vibes. There's the scene where like they start getting close with each other. The intimacy there and like the walls being dropped, I think, is giving me Tangled vibes. I'm really enjoying this a lot, like a lot. I have not been able to put it down. I'm almost done, and I'm getting a little nervous because things were going like a little too smoothly. I'm a little scared. I finished. Like, this is gonna be a trilogy, I think. The next book comes out in like July. So I knew like this would probably end on a cliffhanger and it would probably be really painful. I just wasn't expecting that. I have a few more pages left, so the next book that I'm going to start reading, just to knock out a few pages, Magnolia Park's A Long Way Home. I'm really nervous. I think people prefer this one over the first one, so we'll see if that is true for me as well. Day 2 of this video. Still reading Magnolia Parks. Can't even like put into words Magnolia and VJ due to my soul. I don't want to talk about it because it's actually going to be the reason that I'm probably put in therapy. I'm going to do a recap of yesterday because I actually read a little bit more than I was supposed to. Yesterday, I was supposed to read 361 pages. So I started Powerless and I was on page 265 when I started filming, and then I finished Powerless. So I read 229 pages of that book, and then I started Magnolia Parks, and my goal was to read to 132 pages, and I read until 199. So I read about 60 pages more than I was supposed to. Today, I'm supposed to read 190 pages, so it's a lighter day. Definitely gonna keep reading just because I have nothing else to do. I'll keep reading, probably finish Magnolia Parks, honestly, but today we have an easy goal. So far in this book, like people are saying that the first half is like not really that crazy, and then the second half is where it like really kicks into full speed. I love these characters, so like I'm still having a good time, but that makes me really nervous because right now like nothing's really happening too much. If you guys have read Magnolia Parks, like the first Magnolia Parks book, it ends off, spoiler warning, for like 15 seconds probably, starting now. Magnolia Parks ends off with BJ and Magnolia getting back together and then of course breaking up again, and then Magnolia Parks A Long Way Home sets 2 years in the future, I think. It's either a year or 2 years in the future, and BJ has a new girlfriend, but he is trying to break up with his new girlfriend to get back together with Magnolia. It's the same routine that like we're used to. Now there's just another girl involved. Find out something else about Magnolia and BJ's relationship, like when they were in high school. You know, I'm not gonna like go into detail in case you haven't read this or you don't know or what's going on. I'm liking it so far. Like, of course, I love these characters. I love the way Jessa Hastings writes, so I love this book so far. I just like right now can't see that it would be a 5-star. Don't know if that's true. Obviously, like I rated Powerless a 5-star, and I'm gonna say this now. In 2024, I'm just gonna like have fun reading. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, this book was like a 4.75 out of 5-star. Like, I'm not gonna do like 0.25 or 0.75. I don't even want to do like a half rating unless it's like really, really crucial. Like, this could be like a 4.5 star, you know? It's not like a perfect 5. I feel like that's really only gonna be allowed if it's like between a 4.5 and a 5. Like, I'm not gonna do a 2.5 or a 3.5. It was a 2-star or it was a 3-star. There's nothing else. The whole journey of like me reading and like posting about books and talking about books, it's supposed to be me like recommending, showing what I'm reading, what I like, getting book recommendations, book hauls, shopping, all that kind of thing. It's not really about like my reviews. So I just don't really care to sit here and be like, this has a 4.25 out of 5 or a 3.64321. Like, I don't care. I finish a book and it stresses me out if I like can't think of a rating. I don't care. I actually got yesterday, I had to make it like an emergency grocery order because I literally had nothing. So I ordered like chai, like the concentrate, and I want to make a chai because I've never done that before, and like I just want to sit and read with my chai. I've actually never even tried this before. Oh my god, this smells so freaking good. Oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. Don't recommend drinking it straight out of this. I didn't know it was gonna be like that strong. That was crazy. I'm never doing that again. Are you joking? Like, are you joking? Hold on, I gotta tell Kat. Guess what? What? I made my own chai. Ugh, and I'm just like gonna sit here and read and drink my chai. Are you kidding? This is the life. I did the math because I left off on 199 and I have to read 190 pages today. That means that I have to read to at least 389 today. I'm literally 1 page in from when I last updated, but it's a new chapter, so I thought I would update. Can we also talk about Taylor Swift having a new album out in 2 months? I just know from the vibes that it's just gonna fit this series and this universe. I'm gonna show you guys like how I tab up my books. What I do is I take 4 different colored tabs, and I do the lightest color is always like relatable things, so quotes I like, things that I can relate to, good like life lessons. The next color up from the lightest is for sad things. If something sad happens, whatever the case is, something sad is said. It really is like the sad stuff that I had to like put the book down for a second and like regroup. And then the next color, the second darkest, third up from the lightest, is happy stuff. So just anything that kind of made me like kick my feet, giggle. Top color, like the darkest color, is like the hot stuff. So that could be smut. That could be like flirty things that were said that like made me get butterflies, things like that. Just a little step above like kicking my feet, giggling. Like I probably like audibly gasped when I read that. Like relatable stuff. So this little personal one here. It says, we weren't just in the foxhole, he was more like a shield and a security blanket and a pacifier and a bandage and a stitch for my broken heart. So that could be sad. For me, relatable. It is the next day. I did not read all of what I was supposed to yesterday. I just felt like I'd been reading a lot. I felt kind of burnt out, so I wanted to kind of take the night off and not read, but luckily that's a shorter day for reading, so like I can just add that onto today. I was supposed to read until 132 of Magnolia Parks, and right now I'm on 281. I've been reading a little bit this morning. I'm gonna get there. So I'm gonna finish yesterday's reading, which is 190 pages, but today, 383. So that probably leads me to finish Magnolia Parks. I did also bring to school with me A Court of Frost and Starlight because I figured that's a shorter book, so I can probably finish this and then read a shorter book. So I'm like knocking 2 out and I just feel like more productive that way. And I was gonna jump into Daisy Hates after I finished Magnolia Parks. I love this series so much and I don't want to like speed through it and not like let it sit in my brain, you know? So I figured I would switch and read the next ACOTAR book, knock out 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm halfway through this book now, like I'm at part 2. So far, like this is the only time I've actually found myself getting like pissed off with Magnolia and BJ's relationship. Like normally I'm like, it's toxic, but I'm still rooting for them. But in this case, I'm like, can we just like, please? Like, I'm like getting annoyed now. I don't want to like spoil anything, so I'm trying not to say anything. But again, people are like, oh, the ending is like crazy, and people are just talking about the ending. When I was reading the first Magnolia Parks, I was like, this is a 5-star. Like, by all means. I was reading it and I was like, 5-star. I have no idea. This just like doesn't feel like a 5-star, and watch, I'm gonna end up changing my mind. But right now, like, I just don't see how this would be a 5-star. Like, I still love the writing of this book. Plot-wise, like, nothing's really happening. Hello guys, it is Thursday. Yesterday I finished Magnolia Parks, and I will say the ending definitely shook me and put the rating a little bit higher. I just wish it didn't take that long to like really feel like we were getting somewhere. I feel like in the first book it was constant twisting and turning. I really felt like I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, and in this one it would go like 100 pages, something interesting would happen, and then like another 100 pages, something interesting. Like, I don't know, maybe some people like that pacing, but for me, I felt like we were just going in circles in the wrong plot points. I wanted to be going in circles with BJ and Magnolia, but I will say my heart dropped reading certain lines, and I loved this book, so this is a no-brainer that obviously it was close to a 5-star. Wasn't, but it was close. And then because I just wanted a quick read and I was too scared of diving through the Magnolia Parks universe too quickly, I took a break and went back to ACOTAR and I read A Court of Frost and Starlight. This is like 250 pages. I read the 179 that I was supposed to read to like make up for other days where I wasn't reading the amount that I was supposed to. Like, I had to finish this book and then read 179 of this one to make it the total, and then I just wound up finishing it because I had like 70 more pages. I liked this book a lot more than people made it out to seem that people would like. Does this make any sense what I'm trying to say? A lot of people were like, oh, this book's boring, like, oh, it's just a novella in between ACOWAR and A Court of Silver Flames. I thought this gave a lot of like really important information. It wasn't action heavy, which I think is what a lot of people read this series for, is the action and the romance, but the romance was very much there, and it was very information heavy, but it wasn't long, so it wasn't like you were trying to absorb all of this information that made 0 sense. I gave this a 4-star. I really thought this was very important to the story. Wasn't like 10 out of 10 super entertaining because again there wasn't action or like heavy plot points. I felt like this was a really good insight to like the other characters' minds. It's more than dual POV. It has like 8 different POVs, and I felt like this was just an interesting way to get glimpses of other characters that we wouldn't get full books of. Today I'm going to try to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, 257, so not bad. I finished Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, and I had like 2 pages left that I needed to read to meet the goal. So I literally read 2 pages of Twisted Games and then had a lot of fun reading it, so I read all of that. I only needed to read like 2 pages though, so I didn't bother like updating about it, and I'm not going to talk about that book in this video because I read 2 pages worth for this video. Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, I really liked this book. I don't think I liked it more than Daisy Hates, like the first Daisy Hates book. I really liked this. I liked who it was following, but the main quote on here, the grid I'm doing, isn't even said by Daisy. The ending of this book was crazy. Like, I really liked the ending and I liked the way the plot was going. I just feel like it's a little deceiving who this is really following, especially on the back of this book. Like, the synopsis doesn't really talk about like the main thing that you're following. It mentions it like very briefly. It didn't feel like a Daisy hates book, if that makes sense. I really liked seeing Magnolia and Daisy's friendship actually form, because it's very prominent in these books that Daisy hates, no pun intended, Daisy hates Magnolia. She hates Magnolia because of Christian, and she just thinks that she's like super prissy and like she's just this rich girl, and Daisy is a part of like this gang lord family and she just wants to be normal. The version of normal that she sees through Magnolia like is not normal, and Daisy's like, this girl is so annoying, her stupid boyfriend, she has this rich family, she does whatever she wants, everybody's obsessed with her, the guy that I like is obsessed with her, so she's just not a fan of Magnolia. But they end up having like a lot of heart-to-hearts in this book, and I loved seeing it come together because you get hints of the characters in the other books. Like, you get Daisy in Magnolia Park and then you get Magnolia in these books, but seeing them like actually develop a friendship and not just like look at each other and like that's the interaction, it was really cool to see that happening in this book. I will say I really enjoyed it. It just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I gave it like 4.5 stars, so still really great. Then, like I said, I read literally 2 pages of Twisted Game. I liked this a lot more than I was expecting to, but we're not gonna get too much into that. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you're subscribed because I upload 3 times a week. Plenty of book content coming your way at all times. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you.